That Ryan Davis conversation.
All right, here we go. Here we go,
No,
guys.
Ryan Davis. Yeah, the comedian.
Open us up.
Yeah, when he had that picture of his daughter and kind of inferred that she was a gold digger, and it was on Club Shay Shay, and online was eating his ass up.
Oh damn.
Yeah,
He said his daughter was a golden.
like try to infer like what the way he was saying it. I got what he was trying to say, but he didn't. First of all, you on the Club Shay Shay trying to say when he was saying like his relationship with his daughter has become transactional. It hurts him that it has become like that. It's not like every time he's serious like what does she want? So she's 10 or 11. And 10 years old, and he was like, and I'm listening to this,
Dang,
and
at
it was
10
like,
years
yeah,
old.
yeah, you know they want, and I'm like,
Oh yes.
damn.
Yes.
And I was like,
Oh,
I said,
yeah,
first of
yeah,
all,
yeah,
bro,
yeah.
like from your whole
Yeah, yeah, I remember
conversation,
that,
I've
yeah.
seen his shows and everything. You condition that child because every time you come around as an absentee parent, you bring her stuff or say, hey, what do you need? You condition children to move how you need to move them. Now,
I know what you're
and so
talking
people
about.
was like, well, y'all women missing this point of view. What are you trying to say? I said, I understood what he was saying. I said, I don't have a problem with his telling his truth. My problem was that you let that producer put your child picture under that context, and those men started calling your child a goddamn gold digger. That was my problem with it.
And she was only how old?
She's 10.
She's like 10
Okay,
years
yeah,
old.
that's weird.
Yeah, I said, so she got
weird.
friends in school, all this stuff. These people calling her a gold digger. These men like, yeah, because that's how my child is. Half of y'all ain't even with your child like he wasn't. The mama was raising him. And that's why you don't let ugly niggas have sex.
Who is this?
Ryan Davis.
I think it's just
What y'all feel about Corey Holcomb and Antonio?
Oh, that nigga.
Corey
I never
Holcomb's?
liked Corey Holcomb.
Oh, the dude that was beating the women, or he
Yeah.
beat a woman.
No,
hit
no,
old
he beat
girl.
up-
He hit old girl.
He did?
Yeah, they pressing charges.
On the air?
He put that man picture daughter. Yeah, he did. I saw that. Corey Holcomb put his daughter up.
He called her a boy.
Yeah. Corey always been like that though. Corey always
Yeah.
been like that.
You would be good with your podcast, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Corey
yeah.
Holcomb.
You better be
always
ready.
been a jerk.
And you better have us on your shit too.
Yeah, Corey Holcomb always been a jerk.
Yo,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be me. I'd be like, I look at all that stuff.
Well, there's a clip of Corey Holcomb talking
I knew he about to get
weirdly
into it
about
with another
domestic
dude.
violence, and I know he's a comedian.
And then he hit the lady in December.
But yeah, and then
But
so
see, if you go back 10 years, he's always been this person. And that's what women
Yeah.
have been saying. And some men, too, is like, that dude is disrespectful. He's disgusting. You can
Yeah,
tell
that's
he
his,
he
that's
doesn't
his,
like women.
that's his comedy.
what is
That
his
ain't
way?
his
Comedy's
comedy
like
at
that.
this point. That's not his comedy. That's his character.
No,
Yeah,
no, what
exactly.
I'm saying is his comedy
Well,
is that.
It's
His
not
comedy's-
anymore because now he really does do that.
He,
Real- yeah,
he's
so
been
no,
doing
no,
it.
no.
If
Remember
he's
when
done
he was
that,
on Club Shay Shay? He
that
said
ain't
the reason
comedy
he
no
messed
more.
with certain women because if he find a woman who needs him, who ain't got nothing, who hung, like her kids starve and all that, he said,
Yeah.
I know she stays with me because I ain't got to worry about her going nowhere.
Yeah.
And see,
He say some
that-
weird
what,
shit.
What I'm saying
Because
is,
that
That's
nigga's
weird.
a bitch.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's not weird, but that was always his comedy.
Yeah.
At first, I thought that was just the comedy,
Yeah,
even
until you
female
realize
laugh.
it, yeah.
But then you see it kind of trickles
Yeah.
in his like.
Yeah.
He was on the
Yeah.
Jerry Springer show one time.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was a lesbian with another girl, right? Her and D-Ray, him and D-Ray. But the lesbian, the stud, I should say, right, started getting into it with them. So the stud even tried to buck at them dudes. He said, look here, man. And then D-Ray was like, yo, look, you need to sit down because I'm going to do something you can't do. And I'm going to get her pregnant. You can't. Stud got mad, jumped up, and ran up on Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb had to
Yeah.
toss him around.
He
you
just
know what
got
I'm
into
saying?
a big argument
With another
that,
guy.
That one guy,
With the
That's,
guy,
that's
yeah.
who,
the guy
that,
who was
that's who
reacting.
Daughter.
The guy,
yeah,
yeah.
that's who daughter
The
he
guy.
put out.
Oh, so that's
He put his
why.
daughter. He put his daughter picture up too.
And
And then, but my man and him was right there.
To sue him, he done said that. I don't know. He
Yep.
said, look, I don't know what rap to take. He said,
Yep.
Corey, y'all win, you got it.
That was after the fight, the
That was after the
altercation.
argument. Yeah,
After the
after the
argument.
altercation. And somebody,
So, by the way, that's the guy who reacted to your clip,
Tom Daniels.
Anton Daniels. He reacted to a
and then
clip
you see
that
what
she
I said,
had.
and
Oh,
I put
really?
out that
Yeah.
shit. I was like,
Yeah.
I said, how you wanna? He was like, oh, I want
Yeah,
her to
to
come
us.
on my show, right?
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
was like, I want her to come on my show, and I put on this thing. I said, if you can't debate a clip that you put up of me, how you gonna debate me if I actually came on your show?
You should have went on the show.
No.
How come you didn't go on the show?
No, because because somebody was like, you should have won the show. And I put under the comments, I said, this Negro know me. I don't even know him. You talked about me. I said, keep my that's when I told you. Exactly. And that's when I told
He a
you.
big Trumper, I think.
I said, you make sure you hit
Oh,
that
he a
Negro
big
out
Trumper.
because he
Low key,
didn't
I
tag
think.
us, and YouTube requires you to tag people when you use
Oh,
their
that's
clips.
the dude you were
That's
talking
why I
about.
said tag his ass because I said and that's what started funneling people to the pay. And people said, oh, now
Oh,
I get what she
yeah,
was
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
arguing with a
That
nigga
was
who
a
came
while
with
ago.
hot box on
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
She
Yeah.
said, yeah, my man need to tag y'all for this.
Yeah.
See, that's what we need, a
Yeah.
fucking producer.
Because I get on shit. I be like, nah, you tag me.
You know that,
And
right?
people's like, you need to go. I have
That's
friends
what we
call me. I
need.
said, why would I go
Yeah,
on there
yeah.
when I tear him up? That's a waste of my time.
All right, y'all. Let's get this show started.
I said, he know me, I don't know him.
But yeah, man. So so a lot of shit been going on in the world right now, right? So we still dealing with this. Well, it's unfortunate with the whole debacle with ICE and whatnot. So y'all see someone else got unalive as again recently. So they operating in the street with impunity, and I believe that his administration is just letting these departments do as they will, right? So now they're calling for these people to step down. I know you guys have heard what's been going on, so I would love to hear your take on what's been happening in these streets. Dr. Veronica Pearson, go ahead and spill that tea one time for us.
Well, so as we know, ICU VA nurse Alex Pretti was, I want to say the real word because that I'm alive, and y'all know how I feel about that. It takes away the gravity of what actually happens to people. So I was like, this man was, by all intentions, from video, from eyewitnesses, he was murdered. You can bleep me later, but that's what happened. So for me, I looked at the video. I'm a person. I got to watch it, research it, because I don't want to do secondhand information. This man, Alex Pretti, has been out there numerous times helping people who've gotten maced by ICE, who've gotten tased, and trying to help them. He was literally helping a woman who 5 of these uneducated Nazi type of dudes was on attacking, spraying this woman, everything. He was trying to help the lady. He had a camera in his hand while helping her. He was filming the whole thing. They in turn then started beating on him. Never once did you see this man had his concealed carry, his licensed concealed carry weapon exposed. I said they in turn started beating on this man, like 5 to 8 of them. Okay. I said after they beat this man, once you start moving close, I guess they realized he had his concealed carry weapon that was legally permit. I said they removed it because you see in multiple videos where one of the ICE agents removed the weapon from this man's body, and they in turn still shot this man 10 times.
Yep.
10 times.
That's intent.
They shot this man 10 times, and they did what bugs do. They scattered.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they knew what they was wrong, what they guy did. But this is what happens. And so you have all of those same people that gave the Kyle Rittenhouse dudes all they props saying, oh, that's his right as as the Second Amendment, even though Kyle Rittenhouse was illegally carrying that weapon, underage, did not have a permit, none of that. They still rah for him, raised money, everything. But with these same people trying to throw Alex Pretti, this man who literally prayed for veterans when they passed away in the hospital, talked over them, was one of the good guys from everybody said, went out there to try to help people. He was always a helper. And he was unalived by a bunch of Nazi goon dudes. Yeah. And so they came out and lied off the bat before any video was
that's
released.
my next thing. So what is the narrative that they're spinning? What is it?
Well, they've been calling him a terrorist. They said that he came out to do maximum damage. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like he's literally just sitting there with his phone, just trying to record things. And, the protests have been going on, all over the country that Saturday. Like there was all kinds of things happening. And so he was just trying to be out there and to, protest what ICE was doing. Yeah. I mean, we obviously saw, a few weeks ago, wasn't that long ago that somebody else got gunned down by these people. And really what's going on is that you have these people who are signing up for ICE and they have no training. They have no idea what they're doing. And so when you get into a situation like what happened to Alex Pretti, it's like, well, these people have never been in these situations before. So I'm not surprised that, when things start going down, they're like, oh, let me grab my gun. We've seen this with even trained officers, how they will grab their gun. So what do you think is going to happen with somebody who's untrained? You know what I mean? So, and that's what really happened. I mean, it's sad to see that, it has to come to this. I mean, for people to actually get fired, for people to actually have to be taken out.
But what had to come to, this is the issue that a lot of black people have. Because the same thing they did with Alex Pretti, spun that whole narrative that he was a terrorist. He rode up on them with the gun. They did it to Alex, if I'm pronouncing Alex Hood, the white lady they shot 3 times. Tried to say, oh, this man was injured so bad.
What did you just say?
Yeah.
You said white.
White. That's what I'm saying.
White.
The white.
Yeah, yeah.
You did that to the white lady.
That's
and
what's
you
different.
Shot her several times. But see, the people got to understand, black people have been saying this, and this is what we're saying. The same way they've been spinning this narrative on different things and telling these takes. Yeah. We've been saying this, but now you realize because on a national level, like, damn, they lie that bad. So when black people was telling you, they spun the tail on this, they spun the tail on that, they spun, just like you have the guy, what is it, Fred? The black guy that was killed by them as well.
Right. Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, I said, you're sitting there with all these narratives they automatically spin because that's the same way the police say, oh, stop complying, stop resisting when they got you on the ground. Mm-hmm. It's the same narrative. And you got a bunch of guys who couldn't pass the ASVAB or the physical or nothing. Now you just recruiting them because you need to build a militia and they're out here playing Call of Duty with real people's lives. So now it took a white man who was a legal registered gun owner.
Stand-up guy.
A stand-up guy. You couldn't spin the narrative because if it was black, it'd be like, oh,
they would
what
have
they
said
say,
something.
he was true.
He has Skittles in his pocket.
Yeah,
that's
Skittles in a can of soda.
And that
Yeah.
was the point I was going to make now with the propaganda that the right always do, right? So when it was beforehand, when it was black folks getting taken out in the streets, first thing they would do was go look in their background.
Yeah.
Remember when the white female cop kicking the dude Boffman his door and went to the wrong place?
Yeah.
Then he was in his own residence, right? And when she took him out. You know what they said? Oh, well, we found a joint inside his. Yeah, exactly. So they always try to spin that negative propaganda. Yeah. They try to look for that to spin something.
Because it works.
Exactly.
You know what's crazy is right now, them spinning this thing about the
with this guy,
first responder guy.
Yeah.
It's working on a lot of people. A lot of people believe that shit.
Because they have
That's
to believe
crazy,
because they
y'all.
and this is me. When people say, how do people still follow Trump? How do they still believe this thing about Alex Pretti when the evidence is in their face? Because when you need, it's the same reason Elon posted that BS about white people got to join together or they're going to be, the last ones that people heard him. It's the same thing Trump said, we got to protect white rights because of civil rights happened. They know that these bigoted, racist, ignorant white people need an excuse.
Yeah.
They already know they full of mess. They know Trump is lying. They know the Alex Pretti situation was true. But they need something to justify it other than believing and understanding and accepting who they really are. Mm-hmm. So they need a lie. They need a story. That's why they post these things. They know that video is exactly what it is. The same reason why they still around here know, Trump is doing great things, even though they right now trying to figure out how to buy eggs.
Yeah.
I said, they know the lie. They got to hold something. So that's what the Trumps and the Elons are feeding them, a lie that they can hold on to. They know that man was killed.
The propaganda.
They see the video. They know it's easy to buy us because they sold it for years that black people were the problem.
This is the definition of a cult.
Oh.
This is how you know the MAGA thing is a cult.
You want to know how they drunk that Kool-Aid?
You see this.
When you see this.
I've always said this.
Yes,
I've always said this. I've been saying this from the beginning. But
how they drank the Kool-Aid.
This is the definition of a cult. When you get to this point where people, even when they have the video, they have the evidence in front of them. Yeah, exactly. When they have the evidence in front of them, they still will not denounce what these people are doing. Yeah. And right there, just going hard for them too. I've seen a couple of videos. I'm like, damn.
Yeah. But see, and that's when you know
your
how
mind
bad
is that gone.
You want to be known so bad or sell yourself out to be accepted so bad. Like even that Kid Rock bullshit concert they're doing. I was like, Ludacris people can step him all the way back to goddamn Adam and Eve. He off the list for me.
But they said Ludacris isn't on it.
No, because after he got backlash, but your people had you on it already.
But well.
Come with the excuse.
Hold on. No, ain't no excuse. They said that Ludacris, they accidentally put him on. He never was supposed to be on that manifest.
How do your people not be fired from accidentally putting you on a bigoted tour? Stop it. Ludacris has been in this game long enough, and that's that PR spin to say, oh, I didn't know. This man has been in this industry a long time. Your people know your brand. So, they know what's going to mess your brand up and what's not. Blake Shelton ain't around here apologizing.
It'll mess your brand up. All I'm going by is what was put out there. They were saying the fact that he was never on tour, but Nelly is on tour.
They are. The tour hasn't started.
Nelly's will be on it. Nelly is definitely on it.
That grinning coon will be on it. That's why he like practicing the smile. I'm
All right,
telling you.
let's talk
Hey,
about
let's go into
Yeah.
Bovino
Go.
real quick. All right, so Bovino, right? I'm gonna read this article from The Atlantic. Greg Bovino loses his job. So it states, Greg Bovino has been removed from his role as Border Patrol Commander at Large and will return to his former job in El Centro, California, where he is expected to retire soon, according to DHS official and two people with knowledge of the change. Bovino's sudden demotion is the clearest sign yet that the Trump administration is reconsidering its most aggressive tactic after the killing Saturday of 37-year-old Alex Pretti by Border Patrol agents under Bovino's command.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
No, but they always need the fall guy. And you notice how they always let them go back to retire? They all the people go back in time to retire and keep all their pension, keep all their benefits after they sat there and followed this man when they saw who he was. They would have been okay if they would have still been feeding on that machine. And this man can't be brought back to life from stuff that you okayed knowing what was wrong. So I think they should prosecute him just like they know him. They're trying to make her resign, or either they're going to bring impeachment charges on her.
My thing is, man, you know, that term, that old school term, not all skin folk is your kinfolk.
That part right
and
there.
this dude here is clearly Mexican, but he's favoring to the side of whatever he is, right? And I'm like, bro, these people look like you.
You got black people riding for Trump.
So I mean. But I'm just saying, though, it's like, who can you call to? But the people gotta, I don't know, man. They got to bear for themselves.
To me, when you look at a lot of the people, like we were just talking about the tour thing, when you look at a lot of the black people, because people are shocked by all these hip hop artists that even was willing to go this way. But like, dang, man, you part of the system. You know how the system did black people. But when you can get a man, especially some of these black men in certain positions in America, you hand them money, so they adjacency to white people. You hand them some ambiguous, a white woman on their arm, they figure they equal to. And you hand them that white version of God, you're going to get a lot of black men bowing down.
Not all
and following
skinfolk.
there. And they're not your
kinfolk.
kinfolk. They sitting in there, they made money off you, they act like they was part of you, but they never once sat there and really dealt with what was going on. How many of them you really see speaking out? Now you see a lot of white influencers speaking out after Alex Pretti. Like, look, I never said what side I'm on, but I'm telling y'all now, this is wrong, blah, 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 blah. I was like, where was you at? When black people, where was you at with Palestine? Where was you at with all this other stuff? Because you were worried about your brand.
People only care when it hits close to home, when it's like them. But when it's other,
thank you.
You know what I mean? You can turn a blind eye. They only care when it darkens their doorstep.
I'm going to tell you what my grandmother told us growing up. She said, everyone can be touched.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone. And she said, the minute you touch them, they'll stop touching you. Y'all take and do with that what y'all will. The minute you touch them, they'll stop touching you. And so for me, when we look at when we were talking about solutions, other than them marching, which is great, marching, whatever y'all doing, you got to hit these people economically. Yeah. Like Scott Galloway was talking about it, and we've been talking about every major shift happened when money was involved. Whether that was the Montgomery Boycott March, the French Revolution, Gandhi in India, the tax, the British tax, all that stuff, the Tea Party, all of that was money. Yeah. We spent almost $20 billion a month in America. If half of y'all cut off all y'all subscriptions for a month, those people got to answer to their shareholders. They got to answer why we lost money. You see what happened to Target. Target replacing CEOs, all that stuff, just off black people. If Asians and white had stood with us, Target would have probably been decimated quicker. But you have to stand together, because at the end of the day, this man is not just coming for us. He coming for everybody, because the greed is a factor. They use the MS-13 gang member videos to get you to be okay with immigration. They use the farmers to get the people picking damn lettuce to get you to be okay with immigration. And as soon as they did it, they funneled that money to build his own Gestapo regime, because now they stop black people, and they stopped Native Americans the other day. They stopping everybody. You got more kids in doggone camps right now than you got your gang members in there. So what happened to the gang members?
Yeah, Congress gave them the right to racially profile.
Right. And the Supreme Court that he stacked. So don't say voting don't matter.
I believe this all part of Project 2025.
It is Project 2025.
Which they're working on Project 2026.
That's all part of 2025. Yeah. We took that thing apart and looked at it. I said, this all been in play. And they just needed a whole team, which is Trump and the Republican Party, to push everything. So I don't want to hear none of them backtracking right now when you knew what it was, but you were too greedy to care.
Go ahead.
No, real quick, let me ask you. The people who feeling sorry and butthurt now and who voted for this regime, how do y'all feel about them?
I don't care.
Any
I don't
sympathy
care.
for them?
I don't have no sympathy because those type of people will lie in your face and tell you, oh, I thought he was doing this. You knew the truth. You knew history. We have way too many outlets of information now. So that tells me you would do it again if that same person came up. And then you were willing to hurt me. See, the problem isn't the fact that it's happening. It's happening a lot to them. Their pockets. They were willing to hurt every brown and black person under that man. That's why they voted. Even the brown men and the black men that voted for this man, you thought you became part of this group. We had podcasters that I knew, financial ones on TikTok and Instagram. They were subtly trying to push you to vote for this dude. Yeah. And then as soon as he messed up the economy, oh yeah, he messed it up
like
for everybody.
Said,
now he's backtracking.
Because they got a little bit of bread in their pocket.
And that's so I'm like, think about that. Your integrity was for sale. Like you couldn't see it.
I saw a video with, I'm gonna let you go. So
yeah, good.
Kamala spoke. And they play it verbatim. What he's going to militarize the people, and then he's going to use it to weaponize and go against the actual citizens.
History
and that's
repeats itself.
what he's doing. And normally you see things like this in third world countries, where the higher up official, only in third world countries, they use the military as their own personal bodyguard or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Well, not bodyguard, but whatever. They militarize
police,
against
police.
exactly. This is the police against the citizens.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's happening in Minnesota. Of all
History
places.
repeats itself because people don't want to learn.
Go ahead.
Well,
Bruce.
let me say this: when I think about boycotting and stuff like that, it's a lot of people say a lot of things, but it's about organizing.
Exactly.
You have to get people organized,
Yes.
and I don't see anybody really doing that.
Yeah.
Now, Scott Galloway is talking. We'll see what he does, because
there's a lot of business.
There's a
leaders, but you
lot
gotta
of
talk to the
people. There's a lot of people who sit here and talk like they're going to do something, but they never really do it. That's why I'm not, like, a lot of people are talking about the celebrities and, we see like the NBA and all these other people are saying things. Just because you say something don't mean that anything going to change.
Because I turned my subscriptions off, but everybody I know still got them.
We need to start organizing.
Yes.
And, I'm a little sympathetic to the people who were who voted for Trump, who probably regret their thing now, because I think that you're gonna have to bring those people into the fold. Remember, there was 20% of black men who voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you talk about the Latinos and all this other stuff that are kind of like regretting right now. I don't know. We'll see how they feel. But you also there was a big demographic of white women, right? Who I think it was like like 40% of them voted for Trump. So I think you have to realize that a lot of those people you're going to have to bring into the fold. And this comes back to the organization. You're going to need those people.
But see, this is where I disagree.
I'm sure that even in some of these protests, because that's why whenever I watch these protests, I'm always like, that's enough numbers to have won an election.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of those people. I remember right after Trump had won the first time, they did this women's march.
Yeah.
And it was like millions and millions of people. I'm like, some of y'all voted for Trump.
They did, because that was that. Remember, they said we understood the assignment. What I said, they was lying.
I think that if you're going to come after a lot of those people too, you have to come after the people who went home or who stayed home.
Yeah.
Rather.
Oh,
because there were so many people, many liberal. You look at the demographics; it was some of the lowest
because they were
voting
one option
ever.
ponies.
So yeah, go ahead.
No, they were one trick ponies.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, if Kamala, remember all of them came out pushing Palestine. She supports this, she supports this. Yeah. You don't hear none of them or half of them talking about it no more, because it was all about distraction and chaos. So now you ain't got Palestine, you ain't got rights, you ain't got nothing on the table now, because you could not argue with a guy that's that day. So when I say I don't bringing them into the fold, the reason I said we don't need, in my opinion, we don't need to go after them to bring them into the fold. No, let me tell you why I say this. No, listen why I say this. Because they're going to come. Because this is one thing white people will not do is starve their damn self. So they're going to come back to what's best for their money. They're going to come back what's best for their family. They're going to come back what's best for their bottom line. They're going to come back for them. You ain't going to have to come on back and welcome back. They're going to do what's best for them. The same way they thought they was doing what's best for them when they voted for that man. They're going to come back without you having to coerce them, because that's why half of them in the street right now that voted for that man sitting there, we understood the assignment. You ain't understood it because they was lying. And I told people, I said, they are lying in your face. Let's wait till after these numbers come out. They're going to come back just like Alex Pretti.
I want to go back again.
Now they mad.
I want to go back again. There's 70 million people who voted for Trump.
Yes.
You're going to need some of those people.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to come back on their own.
Listen, those people swing back and forth. Okay, so, you have the voters who voted for Obama, who voted for Trump in 2026.
And I'm glad you bring that up, because we had Trump if Obama had one.
You have to realize, and that's the thing. Listen, I know the liberals want to do what they want to do because, they talk a certain way, but it's like you have to be able to bring those people over. That's why when they're like, I don't know if I want to go on this person's podcast, and that's what killed Kamala, because she wasn't trying to appeal to some of those other voters. And so, you have to talk to the swing voters.
Because when we did the thing in North Carolina, we went to rural areas that were Republican rural areas, because I was like, y'all don't hit these people enough. You have to tell them how their Republican representative is messing them over, because all they're listening to is that Republican representative, because that's not a majority Democratic county, city, whatever. So we went to rural areas in South and North Carolina and talked to these people. I was like, these people are carrying you with two things: God, and you worry about sexuality and abortion. That's all they've been riding on. Now, you can't even worry about God, because church is selling you their money low. Then you got Goodwill laying people off. You so worried about all of this. Now he's stripping all your rights to even be a citizen away. So when you have to go tell these people, and that's my problem with the Democrats, is you don't have enough building of your own narrative. Black people have always been transactional when it came to our vote. They stopped doing that and was automatically voting Democrat. Black people like, you give me this, I vote for you. You give me this, I vote for you. And now we got to be the same way. You give me this, I don't want no goddamn back and forth. I don't want none of that, and I'm voting for you. Because the numbers are there. You had people won when 1 million black people sat on Louisiana. And those Democrats could have won. So you have to tell them, we're going to give you this. Now, as far as them 70 people, you're going to have half of them looking at their pocket right now. Them farmers trying to figure out their whole life. You got these CEOs trying to privatize and tokenize everything. Yeah. They're looking at so we're going to be bought out. But one of the things I want from me when it comes to them 70 million, especially the white people that voted for them, to understand this. So they understand that their own people have been their enemy. They're not going to get nothing no matter what we're saying. They have to look in the mirror and say, since you landed on this rock and the Native Americans have been here, white people have been white people's enemy. And they used you, they pimped you out during the Civil War, they pimped you out during enslavement of black people, they pimped you out now to say these are the problems, join us. They made you think your whiteness had a value.
Well,
and until
I think
they see
that's the main
it's
problem.
Not going to matter what we say.
This is the main problem. This is why Kamala loses.
Yep.
This is why
misogyny and racism.
Even with all the stuff that Trump did, Biden barely won. Yeah. Let's be honest about it, right?
Yep.
It's mainly because of that kind of talk.
Yeah, but it's the truth, though.
It's the truth. Yes, it is the truth, right? It is the truth. But they're not going to hear. They don't want to hear that.
But
they don't want to hear that.
You cannot keep kissing somebody's ass who playing in your face. That's my problem.
At this point, it's a losing argument.
Yes.
And so you have to start talking in a different way.
So when we do, what happened?
I think
when we did that, what happened though?
I think the Democrats need to go back to talking about the working man.
Yeah. Okay. But when you did that, what happened?
What?
No, because you would say even when you look at Biden barely winning, right?
Right.
And even Kamala had the unions behind her, everything. So we know that's misogyny, racism is what it is. But when you look at Biden even barely winning, you had these people, and now you're looking at how they can prove Russia was interfering with both our elections.
Yeah.
When they can prove Russia was literally black women and on apps and everything pretending to cause chaos.
Let's stay with this though. Let's stay with this. The Democrats have lost. How did they lose the working man?
Yeah.
How did they lose?
They lost them because they got too liberal.
Yes. And they're getting too, listen, they talk about other things that regular people who are trying to put food on their table don't necessarily jive
the Republicans didn't talk about that.
And so you have to, because they do talk about it.
But
that's how they win.
They talked about God,
No.
They spend it with God.
Listen, first,
and then they dress hokey as a farmer.
Let me say this. They talked about it. And listen, you don't see anything changing, right, with the prices. Like, they talked about the eggs.
No.
They talked about bacon. You had Trump up there talking about eggs and bacon and all this other stuff.
The one time, and then
you
it was
didn't
like...
You didn't really hear the Democrats as, kind of talking about those things.
Do you think it's because they started looking at Democrats at elitism? And that's one of the things that I think is messing up. Because you got people who sit there with Trump as the uncle you like at the cookout. Mm-hmm. They think because you're telling them actual facts, actual information, and then you on top of that, you're literally pushing the agenda for what people consider 0.1% of the population when we're talking about abortion rights and when you're talking about gay rights. So people looking like, but that's not my problem. We're talking about the eggs. We're talking about jobs. We're talking about all of this.
The Democrats have messed up.
Republicans keep doing is riding on God.
The Democrats have messed up so much that they just elected a socialist, and a lot of people call him a communist in New York as the mayor.
Oh, your
okay.
boy.
And so, listen, I mean, and this is where it comes. I'm talking about Mamdani.
Yeah,
and so, his boy. Listen, the Democrats need to get back to talking about the working people. They talk a lot about all this other stuff.
Things. I agree with you.
And they've become the elitist party, which is laughable when you look at the Republicans.
Look, right.
But that's what's happening. Yeah. And so that's all I got to say. So I don't want to go down the wrong.
No, we can talk about that, but can we talk? We have to face the truth of, even when we give them and they come and say, hey, this is what we're going to do as farmers. This is what we're trying to do for the farmers. This is what we're trying to do. They still, and it's sad to say this, and it's really, really sad to say this. That's why I never like that discussion of people saying they're voting against their own interests. No, they're not. They were voting for their interests. Their interest was not to make sure everything was equal for everybody. Their interest was to make sure it was just for them. And that's the part until we address that and say, we want to say, okay, let's do it farmers because we don't want higher prices. We want to say, let's have it equal where everybody can eat, and home prices aren't $430,000 across the board for a first-time home. We want those things. But when you sit here and let people play on your spirituality, when you sit there and let them play on not even your bigotry, it's just that's not something you care about if you're saying too much about homosexuality, abortion, different things like that. And you're not looking at the bigger picture because they can't break down to you. He never once told you how they was going to make your eggs cheaper. He never once told you how they was going to make your gas cheaper.
Yes, but it's about the messaging.
Exactly.
You have to message.
And the message got lost and you wanted to believe it because you wanted to believe it.
I think, both of you guys got valid points, right? W.E.B. Du Bois did a thing. He said that, of course, the poor whites, your white skin is your privilege. That's your wealth.
Yep.
The corporation and the higher elite white men. Remember now, at one time in America, the only way you could vote is that you had to own slaves and own land. That's the only way you could vote. You consider an elitist white person, and other white people were servitude to you. But meaning that we know that they will never reach, and we need a working class. We don't need them to be on our level. So by your whiteness, let's make everybody white and let's make them black. So that's why you have lesser whites, which I do some pushback when you say, I do think they do vote against the interest, but you partially right too, because their interest is to benefit them, but in turn, it also affects them in a negative way. Yeah. Now, in the same way, you may get some Hispanics and some blacks, I agree with you again, when they get some dollars in their pocket and they will vote this way, and in turn, it affects them in a negative way, right? Now, back to what you were saying, far as Republicans, the way they speak is of God, and they speak to your fears. Yeah. This is what's going to happen to you.
Right.
Yep.
Whereas Democrats speak in the terms of economics for all. But poor educated Republicans, or the poorly educated, as Donald Trump so classified them, it's towards your fare. At one point in time, my own nephew was on the Trump coattail. And he would tell me things like, man, they doing this overseas, this and that, this and that. I said, is that happening over here? They speak to your fears and things that ain't even going to happen. There is no Mexican taking no job from no white person. They're not going out there selling oranges or working in the fields. We all know these things ain't going to happen. White people want to be in charge.
Yes.
You can train them. They'll come in and you've been there 10 years and they just might have a degree. You train them and now they're your boss. That's the way America is working. That's the monopoly of things. You know what I'm saying? But that's the way the Democrats speaking economically for all, Republicans speaking directly to you in your fears of what they're going to do, but we all know they ain't going to do shit because shit has never worked because even the trickle effect doesn't not work. And they've been trying that for years and years and years. Just like what State Representative J.A. Moore said, your pause and your lack of education are all your red states.
Yes.
And it's going to be like that, and it's continuously like that.
Yeah.
But these people looking at their whiteness as their privilege. It's their whiteness. They don't care nothing about their health. They don't care nothing about their economics. If it hits them, yeah, you have to talk to them. But like she said, you're going to have to get in their rule and say, look, okay, this is what we're going to do for you directly. They don't want to hear about the foreigners and this and that and things like that, you know. So
Nobody
that's
want to
pretty
hear about
much
that
what
because
it
they
is.
can't eat. I'm like, without Lyndon B. Johnson quote, you know, that's my favorite quote. If you can't convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket.
Exactly.
Hell, give him somebody to look down on and he'll empty his pockets for you. This was your president. That said this. And people, and I think enough of us, Lyndon B. Johnson, enough of us don't want to accept the truth when white businessmen are telling us how they're moving in these boardrooms. They're telling you how they move. Hit them with money. They're like, we don't
Lyndon
care, but
B.
you
Johnson
bombed up.
Yeah. He also had another quote. He said, I'm going to have them niggas voting Democrat for
and
the
that's
rest of their life.
Yeah.
For 60
and that's
years.
why this man is telling you how they play us. How they play us. He was calling us niggas. I love them good niggas. I was like, while he was on the toilet, I love them good niggas.
When former Mayor Summey, right? Because, you know, Elliot Summey went to school with us. We went to the same high school. And there was a recording. He was talking to Summey when he was running. He said, look, don't worry about the blacks. All you do is go to the churches.
Yep.
You got them. You need to worry about the whites because North Charleston is a Democratic city.
Yeah.
You got to worry about the white because whites return Republican quick.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? He said, you got to worry about the whites. That's who you need to pander to. Forget the black. As long as you talk to their pastors, give their church a little something. And that's sad. That's the way they can manipulate us through the church.
But it's the jealousy of it, and that's the sad thing. Like when you're looking at the jealousy, remember when Rosewood, he was like, he got a piano? And the sheriff white dude was like, you don't even know how to play the piano. Why you jealous of that man having a piano? Sometimes it's not even the policies that make them shift. It's the jealousy that makes them shift. And I'm like, dude, black people ain't trying to worry about killing and starting no riot. We want you to just leave us alone. But you can't leave me alone because you need somebody. So when I told somebody white this, I said, even if you took all the black and brown people out the U.S., y'all would kill yourselves in 6 months.
Oh, the economy will cripple.
Somebody. No, I'm not talking about the economy. White people would go at white people because they've killed themselves. Like Alex Pretti isn't the first white person white people have killed. You look at all the white people that fought for civil rights that got killed with us. You look at all the white people that fought in the Civil War that tried to help got
John
killed
Brown.
with us. You said so that he's not the first
Brown.
one. You know what I'm saying? You look at white people got killed during the Crusades for other people. This is not the first time they killed their own people.
In Europe for years.
For years.
People think when they came over, they didn't like I'm using.
They was the Lord.
They didn't send their best.
They didn't send
They
their best.
send the worst of the worst.
there.
And what they did with the convicts, they sent them to Australia.
Yes.
And took over the Aborigines.
All they
land.
did was flip
So
it
they
from
didn't send
Britain
the best.
rule. They didn't want to be at the bottom.
Yeah.
And that's all they did. Your forefathers are not the great people y'all thought they were. But that's why I said we got to come together and say, okay, what is going to be best for the economy right now as a whole, because we got a lot of cleaning up when you're looking at the stripping of African-American monuments and statues just because it's a distraction. I said, when you're looking at all of this stuff, we say, okay, how do you hit these people? And sometimes you have to be uncomfortable to do that because this is what we're looking at for black people, white people, Asian people, Indian people. You got a lot of Indian people thinking they good because Cash Patel and the Dillon lady who's had a civil and J.D. Vance's wife. No, y'all not. No. And then you got the dude who's had a Trump's pack. No, you're not. So you telling me you elected this white man to get rid of immigrant, poor, black and brown people only for him to sell your country out to the rich brown people? Because that's who owning you right now.
Yeah.
With that
Do you want to say anything else about Scott Galloway and what he's doing?
Oh yeah,
Scott
so what's not like other people have talked about this other than Scott
Mm-hmm.
Galloway, but I know he's talking to a lot of business people about it. But I really do think, and like you said, please study history and study movements. Economics move the needle. You can have a lot of morality, you can have a lot of integrity, but if you're dealing with sycophants like we have in this office right now, they're getting off on all the chaos that they're looking at. This is their energy. So you have to hit them in the money. Even if we, like I said, we create almost $20 billion a month in the US in revenue. If you all got off your Chat GPT subscriptions, your Amazon subscriptions, all these subscriptions alone, do you understand? Disney hired Kimball back when they lost all that money in 24 hours. Okay, you had Target trying to figure out their whole life with just the black people leaving. Money talks and bullshit walk, like my grandmother said. Hit him in the pocket.
Yeah, it's time to take action.
It is. Our
It's time
biggest
to take
asset
action.
is our culture.
Yeah.
Look,
We hate
for
us,
sure.
but love our culture.
tenderism.
You know?
Let's not talk about that.
All right, let's move on. Kanye
Lord.
is
Yeezy.
back in the news. Yay. As he's
Yay.
known now. Basically, there a couple of weeks ago, there was like a statement that came out and said that him and Kim are like co-parenting together
Yeah,
again.
which I
and-
think that's good.
which
Yeah.
was good. And then we get a couple of days ago a statement from him. He took out like a full page like ad, and what was that in?
The Wall Street Journal.
Okay,
You
yeah.
have
Can
the
you
article?
can you read that for us?
So yes, Kanye took out an ad in the Wall Street Journal, and I just give y'all some cliff notes of what was said. It said the Grammy-winning musician penned a lengthy apology in the advertisement, voicing regrets for his social media attacks on Jewish people and his public embracing of Nazism in recent years. He began the letter detailing injuries from his 2002 car accident, including a frontal lobe injury he says led to his bipolar type 1 diagnosis. Ye wrote that in the throes of this disorder, I gravitated toward the most destructive symbol I could find, the swastika. He said, I lost touch with reality. Things got worse the longer I ignored the problem. I said and did things I deeply regret. The power, and I love Kanye musician 48 has a long history of stirring controversy, but only began facing waves of scrutiny for embracing white supremacy, fawning over Adolf Hitler, and threatening violence to Jewish people on social media in the late 2022. So he does a lot of apologizing in the
Yeah.
letter to black people, to Jewish people, to different organizations that he's hurt, different things like that with his words.
Right.
And
Is-
also, like, he's planning on being a better parent for his children, leading better by example.
Do you think this full page ad was sincere? What do you think?
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I think it was sincere.
Okay.
I mean, he did a lot of rhetoric. He did a lot of things. Remember the interview with the Black Klan's outfit on? He did with academics, and he even he didn't apologize to Jay-Z, because he even went at Jay-Z too.
Probably didn't.
No,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
didn't.
He apologized to black people.
Yeah,
I guess with Jay-Z black,
he
right?
rounded it out.
So
He
he
said
rounded
some of the people I love the most, I treated the worst. You endured
Oh.
fear, confusion, humiliation, and exhaustion of trying to love someone who was at times unrecognizable. Looking back, I became detached from my true self.
No, granted, I honestly feel strongly, this is my opinion. I think the way he went about things, he should have did it in a more tactful way. Now, that's not to say that he was wrong by a lot of things he said. I mean, he was entitled to his opinion. He felt that the fashion industry was not letting him in, being that he was black, and I can see that. They'll use you to advertise their products because of the platform that he has. I can see that. So I think some of the things he has said probably was warranted. Probably the way he went about doing them. Like I don't. He said he was going DEFCON on
Yeah.
the Jewish
Yeah.
community,
Yeah.
things like that. I mean, bruh. I mean, maybe the way he went about it. Yeah, it's true to what he said. Some blacks are Jews. Black race are Jews. They are Hebrew Israel. It's in history. You can go look it up. If you go to Israel and go to their library, all the way back to 1920s, it was all black people. It was not white, no Ashkenazi. It wasn't none of that. So there is some truth to what he is saying. But I guess the way he went about doing it, he should have done that in a different way. That's my take on it.
What do you think?
So I already had looked at it from the eyeball of, okay, you got it in the Wall Street Journal. So the Wall Street Journal, and I'm just being realistic, how many black people read the Wall Street Journal? Right. So the Wall Street Journal, to take an ad out in the Wall Street Journal is about $50,000 to $250,000.
Really?
Yes. The Wall Street Journal is expensive to run ads. Many people read the Wall Street Journal.
Oh, he's
Well,
rich.
I read the Wall Street Journal because I got to know how this money
You got a
flows. Because that's how
subscription?
you know how stuff go. Hell yeah. Because you
I
know
had
how
a
money
free
moves.
subscription
You know
one
who
time.
doing what. Bump all that feelings.
Yeah.
But I appreciate, fun. It wasn't for me, right? I didn't need his apology. But if he felt he needed to do that, then try to explain it with this bipolar disorder from the frontal lobe accident. They always come up with something. Low wind, I'm epileptic. All these things. I'm bipolar. You bipolar because a lot of y'all did drugs. And I worked in chemical substance abuse centers, and a lot of bipolarism led from chemical abuse. But I'm not saying that was his thing. You know what I'm saying? And so when he says these things, and I was like, and I believe he is apologetic because he might have feel isolated, might feel like he doesn't have things that are going on, because the people who can keep you sane don't want to be around it after a while. Mm-hmm. And he said it numerous times in his sane moments when he said, I wanted to be like Jay, but I end up being like Dame.
Oh, wow.
And so you look at these things. Yeah, he said in a lot of his rap songs, like, because Jay was like, shut your mouth, and he goes start talking. Yeah. And so it's like, when you have that people around you that love you, they want the best for you, but when you are and have substance issues, and you may have injury issues, like he said from his accident, it's hard to, be yourself. And sometimes he gravitated towards what he felt hurt by. So with him in the fashion industry, he was putting, in my opinion, Kanye constantly put himself in places to be hurt. And what I mean by that is, like, our love as Black people wasn't enough for Kanye, because we supported Kanye. We love Kanye, man. I got all the albums, man. You talking fire. You understand me? And we was rooting for this man. This man was genius at what he did. But our love wasn't enough, because even when Sway interviewed him and asked him, why are you so pressed to try to get these people to accept you and build your line when you got the money, you got the connects? He was like, you're right. I should have just did it myself. But he was under the same thing that a lot of Black Americans, if they don't get over white supremacy, he was under, I need their approval. I need their name on my back. Because he was like, you're right, because Sway brought it up to him. We all said the same thing. I was like, but when our love isn't enough for a lot of Black people, they kill themselves trying to get it from people who told them it wasn't enough. And that's when you see a lot of the celebrities go down that route. And I felt bad for Kanye. I said, because when his mom passed, you saw like an ultimate shift in that brother.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that probably, sometimes we got these North Stars, and your North Star could be people that love you. And I felt he got away from that, getting more into that limelight with the Kardashians. I'm not blaming the Kardashians by no means.
Yeah.
But when you get in that space and everybody's like, gimme, 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 and you're not around people like, hey, bro, just pause for a minute. Let's take a chance. Let's breathe. All these celebrities, Eminem, all of them have said this. When you get around them, yes, man, they don't care. Mm-hmm. And so I hope and pray for him that this is him getting his head back, his mental back, for himself and his family, not even for the audience of people, for himself.
Yeah, I think this is him, like, actually going and getting help, the help that he always needed. But I do want to say this. I mean, what Ye has accomplished, you have to remember that at the time when he was trying to get into the fashion industry, there wasn't that many Black billionaires. Like, there's a lot now, but Jay-Z wasn't a billionaire.
No, but they didn't need a billion.
Beyonce wasn't.
He had enough money, though. He didn't need a billion.
I think he was in pursuit of being one of the greatest ever. Like, not just rapper. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you go and listen to his interviews, he really spoke to the future, where he's become. Yeah. And at the time, there was no,
even doing a documentary himself, because he saw it coming.
Yeah, I mean, there was no billionaires really. I mean, Beyonce wasn't there.
He didn't need billions to start his
Rihanna was not a billionaire. Like, he was fighting for a lot of the people to get to that place. And trust me, we needed him.
Yeah, but
we didn't realize that. A lot of people. I think it's easy now to like diminish what he did, but we needed him to get to that point. LeBron James just became a billionaire.
Yeah, but we didn't need him to be a billionaire to make this clothing line, though.
But he needed to do that in order to reach another level, to push the line of what you could do.
Because they made that money off of Kanye. Because like you said, Kanye was a genius at what he did.
Yeah.
This brother had built that. They made that. They value and their revenue increased because of his name. Mm-hmm. That's what, even when he agreed with Sway, he didn't need a billion. You had multimillionaire Black people that, from David Chappelle to Jamie Foxx, all these dudes would invested in Kanye's brand, and Kanye's name built that part of Ye line. It wasn't us running the Reebok for Reebok.
I know, but we needed him to. We needed him to push the line.
Push the wrong people.
We needed him to get to the next level, and he got to the next level. And he accomplished so much, and I think has paved the way for a lot of other people. And you do need those people. And so, listen, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but like at the same time, I think
because look at Pharrell. Pharrell ain't been. Pharrell just like an old lady, and you got Pharrell taking Virgil place, who was a talented
Louis Vuitton and Adidas,
creative designer. Mm-hmm. And it's like when I look at Kanye, I was like, he didn't need it. I think for him mentally, because even when he was like, one of his songs I love best, when it was like, I can't think of the song, he was like, whoa, I'm about to jack it up, and he was like, because he knew his demons. He was like, I want to be this person, but I keep going to this person. And that song, when he was saying, you know, why it's a black and white video. And I'm looking at that and I was like, and that's why I think affected him was like, wow, we wasn't enough. Like he had to get this because in your mind, you got to trump whatever these people put in your head that you needed to trump. And I think that's what's eating a lot of people up when we look at these black businesses now, that this expeditious growth, a lot of them trying to do. And they got in bed with a lot of these VC companies, and these VC companies pull a rug out from under them. And now they begging us to buy their products because the people, they wanted these stories. Like I do believe Kanye wanted the story of saying, I did it for us, or whether he did it for himself or whatever. And I think as black people, especially entrepreneurs, you get so caught up in making the story that you want to be the millionaire in 2 months. Like some of these companies are 20 years old. Louis Vuitton, I'm 200 years old. These people took time to get there, but they get in our head saying in order to be good, like Mike Epps just said it perfectly. He was like, they give black celebrities enough money to stun on black people. And that's, I'm like, we gotta stop chasing the story and chase longevity with ourselves, chase the love, because we would have made that joker a billionaire, which we did off of Yeezy because of him, not because of Adidas. We did that because of him.
I think he should have
with them ugly shoes. We did that off of him.
I know he was chasing Louis Vuitton a lot.
Yeah.
Because of Louis Vuitton, Dawn, and now.
He was mad at Virgil.
Pharrell got this thing with Louis Vuitton. But the average celebrities or people who tricking off money or white people, that's the main one going to buy it. That ain't for the average person. I think Kanye should have went the route of, but then I don't know if Louis Vuitton would even do that. You see with Dapper Dan. You familiar with Dapper Dan?
Yeah. They did the deal with Dapper Dan.
Is.
So don't tell nobody you ain't familiar with Dapper Dan no more. Ever.
Dapper Dan is
he doing a bad job.
He has what's called a cantilever out of his 3-story house in Harlem. So Gucci gave him his own line within Gucci.
Because they copied him.
Yeah. Because Louis Vuitton and all them, and then give him credit. And then tried to sue him, but he was making the clothes out of their luggage. So they say, man, you know what? If you can't beat him, join him. So they gave him his own line within Gucci itself. His own. Of course, Gucci make money off of it. It's still a brand, but it's still a Dapper Dan brand within Gucci itself, you know, that you can't buy. They may have a few pieces, but you have to go to his actual house in Harlem in the cotillier, and they have to measure you, and then they'll show you the fabrics. So it's on that level. I think if Kanye would have did something like that, but once again, I don't know if Louis would actually give him a lane within their space. Because like she said, they've been around, 200 years?
But I think they would have did it because they was on that beat 'em can't join them either. Because remember when they started talking trash, like we don't want our scarves on these rappers because they were bringing down their brand. Louis Vuitton, no, I don't need you to make my brand. I don't need you to decrease the value of it either with the way y'all moving. The same way when they tried to play with Jay-Z and he said, oh, well, let me go ahead and create Duce. You see what I'm saying? Well, Chris Starr was like, I didn't do this for y'all hood Negroes pretty much. Right. And you got to create your own lane. We are so busy. Once again, what I said in my book, what black people made things popular, white people make them profitable.
Yep.
Like they were copying Dapper Dan for decades and not giving this man credit. They were copying black Harlem fashion, black people from California, black people from the South, and not giving us any credit for it because a lot of white people didn't even know that was who they was taking it from. Yeah. So for Kanye, I was like, he built his own lane with his music, with the branding, with the messaging and all that stuff. They was using him. Louis Vuitton would have gave him that deal. I really believe that because he would have brought that whole with more money.
He had some,
like look at Rihanna,
some sneakers.
Like Rihanna, like Beyonce brand with Adidas. She owned that still part.
You're talking about stuff that didn't exist when he was trying to make it happen.
No, they did have brand deals. I'm telling you, they had these people.
It was
had
on
brand
such
deals.
a smaller level.
They had them with the white people.
Listen, he had to push the level in order for things to open up for people, and that's what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah, I know what
to
you. I know what you're doing.
It's like,
but they had stuff with the white people.
In retrospect, now we can look at it and be like, oh yeah, Beyonce has $1 billion, and then Rihanna has $1 billion, but that didn't exist back then because
no billion.
it was about oh well, Jay-Z is a rapper. It was about Rihanna's an R&B singer. That's all she really is. But what he did was he said, okay, I'm going to make this brand and I'm going to do what I'm doing and push the level. And they can't just, if you go listen to, there was one on the Breakfast Club, his interview. He said, listen, they want to make me a rapper because they want to be like, hey, and if you listen to a lot of his music, he's always like, yo, at the end of the day, they're still going to look at you as a nigga. So like,
that's what it is. That's what they were doing.
And that's the key. He was trying to push the level. And listen, I don't agree with anything that he's said in the past, previous years and all that other stuff. He said a lot of crazy things that like I don't agree with.
I mean,
Slavery
at
was
the
a
same
choice.
time,
Slavery was a choice.
Yeah.
pushed the level.
Yeah, he pushed the level, but the bar was already there.
Yeah, it was
like,
already
I just
there.
said that.
Like, think about the money. What was
the
our
bar
boy?
was already
Paul
there.
Kanai, the millions, the nine-figure brand.
And
FUBU, the nine-figure brands.
But everybody
I can make a case that it's still not there though.
Well,
You
for
know,
black, for
like
designers.
I mean, like, listen, I mean, if you're thinking about like next level thinking, okay, like who are some of the biggest companies? Is there a company that's huge that's owned by black people only?
No, but no.
Is there
and
a company that's on the level of a Disney? Is there a company that is on the level of some of these billion-dollar companies?
No, you do. Hold on, you do have,
Like,
but they're telecommunications.
You're
companies.
talking about FanDuel right now,
No,
right?
no.
You've been talking about FanDuel.
No,
Fan base. That's what it is.
No,
Sorry.
that ain't no. It's the black tech.
So
dudes.
is fan base on the
I know you're
level
talking
of where Facebook is?
No, because fan base, first of
just
all, is younger
came
than
out.
that.
So
It
there's
just came
still
out.
a level to get to.
No, but when you
And
talk
so
about
that's
this
what
was
he was
black
trying to do,
billion-dollar
was
companies,
push
you
it.
got them two
So-
black tech billionaires.
Okay.
What's the dude name? Not the Robert Smith dude. He's the one, but the other one too. And that man stay low key. You got like one picture of him in 20 years. They were black billionaires.
And
That's what I
John
say.
Hope
The million.
Bryant.
Yeah,
Well,
John
that's
Hope
real-
Bryant, but
I
his
didn't
man
say
is
there
real
was
estate.
none. There
Yeah.
was none. I said that it wasn't to the level it is now.
No,
But go
those
ahead.
dudes were
No, they
those
were
dudes were
billionaires
billionaires.
before Kanye.
Robert
What you
Smith and
talking
that
No,
black
I'm talking
dude.
about. I'm talking about Ye. I'm talking about
Oh
Ye.
yeah,
Yeah.
You talking
But
as
go
far
ahead.
as rappers.
I mean, like at the time, there was only like I remember at the time. I
there
think
were
it
no
was
black
like
billionaire
there was
rappers.
like 9 billion black billionaires
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah.
Like now,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
way
yeah.
more.
And then, but the thing is, they
So-
still ain't billionaires off of clothes and off of music. So when I look at Kanye, I'm like, all of them don't own because they go to these brand deals to make their valuation higher. So like Rihanna built Fenty, right? Fenty was already now her doing that smart deal she did with LVMH took her to another level. Guess what? She still on everything. So when she pulled up out of there last year, she took everything with her and became a billionaire off them expanding that brand and their money going into the marketing because now she not built something. Companies love to go to people who already built it because they lazy with it. It's fine. They say, oh, I know they not built Black Summit. I'm gonna go buy a piece of this already. The same way when Facebook bought Instagram, they already built it. I'm not reinventing no wheel. I can just buy it from you if you want to sell it. But I think too many black people have gotten to selling it. One of the saddest things for me was when Famous Amos sold his cookies 20 years ago. I was like, bruh. Like Famous Amos cookies. And I was like, we constantly are selling our legacies. When you look at BET, when you look at all these things, we sell it. When you look at Fat Farm, they sell it. And you realize how in the pocket a lot of them are with these people.
Some of them build it up. They build up the brand
and I understand
to
that
sell
just to
it.
sell
You know,
it.
that's a part of
They got an
business
exit
too.
plan.
Yeah. Some
They
of
talk
them
about
do
legacy.
that.
Them joy ain't looking at no legacy.
I just think that there's still
and then
room
and then,
for
there's a lot of
there's plenty of room.
taking
but
it to
then
the next level.
And
And that's
Kanye
what he
in
was
the
trying to
fashion
do at the
industry, I
time.
think it's a lot
Kanye
of room
wasn't
for-
even a true billionaire. That was off of asset.
Yeah,
and
that was
aside
off
for that
asset.
was the Adidas.
That
As soon
is.
as that went away, he went right back, not knocking 400 to 500.
Yeah, but
'cause
no,
I'll take
if
it.
you go
Still
by
good,
that
you know what I
logic,
mean, but-
not
All
that many
of 'em
people are. Yeah, exactly.
All of
They're
them
not
are. All of them are
real.
billionaires. Elon Musk is
Well-
trading on paper.
Well, but I know,
Okay.
I think Oprah and Michael Jordan are true billionaires.
Yeah.
They're true because Michael Jordan sold his stake in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Right.
Oprah owns
Yeah, the
and then
liquidity
plus,
of it.
she done had, and plus I think once you reach about 2 point something, you are a true billionaire
Right.
by that point.
Right, right,
Because they like it's actually liquidity you can
Yeah.
get out of these
now,
companies.
Jay-Z may have somewhat an asset.
But there's a lot of billionaires right now.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
what
that's good. We
percentage
need
it is,
more.
but
There's
it's
a lot
a
of-
high percentage
And
that if
shit
you
ain't getting
take
done.
all
I don't
those
know
things
what
away
this
from them,
blacks.
they're not billionaires
Yeah,
anymore.
Right.
Because,
Exactly.
you know, it's
Elon
about
is
the
a trillionaire off of
evaluation.
government contract.
It's about the
valuation.
evaluation.
Elon is rich off government
Of government
contract
contracts,
valuations.
yeah.
That's the reality of it.
So,
But I hope Kanye is healing. I hope he gets better.
Yeah,
I hope he finds his lane back because college dropout and 808 heartbeat. Baby.
I
Yeah.
miss the old
That's actually
Kanye.
my favorite.
Man, I'm
The
telling
old
you, man.
Kanye.
I'm telling you. It's like sometimes you can drive yourself crazy chasing the love of people who never loved you. That's the
You
way I
should
feel.
never
that's
do
true.
that, man.
Yeah.
You should never do
Our
that.
love should be enough for
Our
our people,
love should
but
be enough.
unfortunately
It
it's
should
not.
be enough. You know,
We love you, black people.
all right, let's talk about male baddies.
another
my
one who
God.
love
Is
themselves.
male baddies a real thing? You know,
No, first, are you a male baddie?
no,
You
I would
consider
never
it?
consider. I would never consider myself.
I don't
that.
even know what that is. I've never
Well,
heard
I
of
guess
it.
it's
Find a
these.
clip on
I guess it's a
TikTok.
new age like
You got the clip?
thing where
No, I gotta
these
find
men are like doing self care. They're like getting their nails painted. They're like taking care of themselves. They're going to the gym. They're, you know, like doing all these different things like
They getting
to make
groomed.
themselves look good. There's this whole like community of like looks maxers, I believe they call themselves, where they're trying to make themselves look as good as they possibly can, and so like they're getting things done to their face.
So
and they're
you
doing
said
all kinds of
painting their
stuff.
nails. Are they doing like color nails or what are they doing?
Yeah, some people
So
are
is
coloring
that
their nails.
is that like would your boy be considered
Who's
a
that?
male baddie? Your boy,
Caleb
dude-
Williams?
No, the dude who you
you
Caleb.
talking
Oh,
about?
Caleb. What,
'Cause he paints his nails.
also Drake. Would he be considered a male baddie?
I mean, I guess I don't know if that's
is that a level above metrosexual? What that was?
That's
what is that?
that's
What
what,
do you
it
got?
seemed like. So they say man baddies refers to men adopting the baddie persona, confident, highly stylish, and meticulously put together, similar to the female-centric social media trend. Okay, let me if it's similar to the female-centric social media trend. This term highlights a shift where men prioritize fashion and aesthetics, sometimes humorously challenging traditional rugged gender roles. So when I heard this, it was like this African-American black young man said this, and a lot of men came for his throat, like, dude, a man baddie, you sound, and I put it to where a lot of people was like, you sound like a bitch. Right? And not a bitch as a friend to a woman. You just sound like what that type of thing would be. So for me, I looked at it from a psychological perspective, right? And a cultural perspective after I finished clowning and laughing at it, real talk. And I realized, but when we look at a lot of things that are going on with men saying, I want peace, you know, and men was like, you know, this woman, you know, she coming to you, she wants this. I realized a lot of men don't have their own language. So when men don't have their own language to say things that they want or feel, they adopt in our language. Notice a lot of videos where men are talking about where they want peace or they want love. You can find 1,500 female videos that said the same thing. They're adopting our language because y'all were never taught to have your own language that says, I want to be held, I want to hug, or I want to be, you know, just soft for a minute. And I think these man baddies is taking it to another level because the Negroes want to move like queer dudes, but you know, that's a whole nother conversation.
Oh my God.
But-
Next thing
but
you
I-
know, you can have dudes out there saying they marrying themselves.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Because
I'm like,
they don't
what the
have
hell
their
is
own
going
language. So when you don't have your own language to say, that's why you got a lot of high-powered men who are in BDSM who want to be subjugated. Because they don't
Man.
even know how to say, I want to be soft. Real talk.
Your language
So,
should
I
be
don't-
football. No, this,
No, but it's reality. Like, they don't know how to say, I've been powerful all day. I've been
You know-
in places all day where I've had to make decisions.
You're
I don't
old
wanna
head.
do
I'm
that.
gonna let
I
you
know
do
I'm gonna
this.
get canceled.
Go.
I know I'm gonna get canceled.
Like,
I'm-
you know
I'm
he gonna
going
talk
ahead.
about
Old
So,
head.
to me, and I hate to sound crass. Hopefully, I don't offend nobody. If I
You
do,
going to.
Fuck yeah, I don't really
Yeah,
care.
because you got
To me,
everybody
that
gets-
sound like a man who bleed once a month.
It,
Stuff
look,
like
that's
that.
what it sounds like
That's
to
what
me,
it
too.
sound like to me. Like
Yeah.
you bleed once a month.
You want to like
I don't-
dudes
I
without
don't-
saying you
yeah,
like
I
dudes.
mean, and true. Granted,
A man
I'm
baddie.
a barber. I'm a barber. There's nothing wrong with getting groomed, getting cut.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Hey, it's all good. You know, if you want to wear a nice fit, I'm cool with
Yep.
that too. You know, I don't understand the nail polish thing. I don't understand dudes wearing dresses now. If they are, to each his own.
Man
purses.
purses.
You know. Hey, I mean, I don't know. I just don't get it. A sling bag, because I rock a Coach sling bag, you know.
That's a
It's like a little-
crossbody purse that
It's
he's
a-
rocking.
it's a
You're a
sling
male
bag
baddie,
that
man.
I throw over
Right.
my, am I a male baddie?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I might be a baddie. I don't know. But my nails, I bite my nails, you know.
And see, but we're not
But-
talking about men who groom themselves as a problem. That's not the issue. It's
No,
when you're
that's-
trying to say, because we know what baddie stood for with rapper women or women out here. The same women men say they don't want. These women who got all the nails and tricking and all the stuff like that. That's what you termed as a baddie. The overdone, the overzealous, the loud opinion. We're not saying men can't be groomed or not. So when he said that baddie term, women was like, really,
what is
dude?
that? What are they exfoliating their skin? What is
No,
that?
but men was doing that already, taking care of themselves. Now, men were doing that, taking care
Okay,
of themselves aesthetically. My man just sat there and used that term first of all. He wanted to just get his algorithm up. So when he used that, because
Okay.
men even came from, because to men, that sound feminized.
Yeah.
And that's what it did.
Well,
It's
where's
like
the
men can
line?
have
Because you
aesthetics.
do have these men out here
Right?
who are very like feminine.
Right?
They're
but
going
who
back
are-
to
You can
androgynous.
keep that.
So like
You're
it's
going back
like
to
okay, well,
androgynous.
where's the line? Like you wear a man purse. You
Yeah.
know, like
You can crawl it a crossbar you want, bro. A crossbar.
It's,
I mean,
is
it's a
even-
sling bag.
Where-
It's a
sling bag is-
where's
It's
the
a sling.
line?
It's like
do
a
you
book
stop-
bag with one strap.
all right, do we
Pretty much,
stop
that's
the
all it
line
is.
at like men like painting their nails?
Mm-hmm.
Do we stop it at like where do we stop it? You know what I mean?
You
Like,
stop it when he want to get pegged. You better stop it at that lounge because that ain't cute right there, Playboy. Because so when you look
Okay.
at these young girls now, and they what's the one who had what is it, Uzi Vert? Is that him?
Lil Uzi
Yeah,
Vert.
With the
Lil
had the
He used to
who had
wear
the
a
gem in the
purse.
middle of his head.
Yeah, Lil
Okay,
Uzi Vert.
yeah.
He used to
That was-
wear a
So
that
when
was
purse.
people,
weird.
when people look at how feminine, like he was doing these feminine things, right? That we term as feminine, painting his nails, carrying bags, all the stuff like that. And his girlfriend was like, "No, I'm good. What I like it." And I see these women say this. Like I see young girls sitting beside their boyfriend, but like, yeah, he's really feminine, but I like him. A lot of that is because they're not threatening. They're not threatening. And I was like, but what ends up happening is like when you fast forward and you look 6 months or a year, these women aren't with these dudes no more. You know why? Because at the end of the day, that nature's gonna run its course, baby. That's why you got men who are transgender women. They're attracted to men who are men. Because that part of you wants that response. That's why when you got women who are studs, they're attracted to women who are feminine. That nature's gonna make you want your opposite. So when you're sitting there with a dude who literally moves like you, that shit ain't no turn on. Like, so you're going to sit there eventually, that female, that woman part, everything's be like, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to want that call to respond like nature intended. You're going to go towards a dude who is more, what we say is masculine. That doesn't mean he gay because these dudes are doing these things by no means, because we knew rockers, Lenny Kravitz, all these dudes paint their nails, but they paint them black. But when you look at the level these dudes taking it to now, you carrying mainly handbags. You can't remember Shadar brother clowned him on a video because he had a purse and called his father, and Dior was like, "That's a purse. You going too far to the left." I was like,
do not wear a purse.
no. They had,
It's a sling
but
bag
you know what
over
trips
your
me
back.
out?
It's a satchel.
Look at all the celebrity
it's
men.
almost like a-
Look at all the celebrity men. Who the ones these designers make it look feminine? Who the one these designers are putting these clothes on make it look feminine?
You said which designers?
No,
are making
no, I'm
look
saying who are the designers putting these clothes on to make
good?
it look
Who
feminine?
are the designers?
Black celebrity men are the main ones. How many rock white dudes we barely see? Even when they got all their stuff on them and look at the nails in the spa.
Well,
they don't.
I think-
your country white men, your acting white
I
men,
think-
but you see what black men show up
No,
on
I
that damn
think
thing.
both of them
Real
are, because what's
Let's
there's the singer from One Direction. He like was wearing
because he said
was wearing a dress.
Yeah,
and a lot
he
of
wore a
people had
skirt.
a problem
But
with
I
that.
didn't like the way they did that. Billy Porter and all of them did that way before him, but he got
Okay.
all the attention because he was a young white boy.
I don't think it's just black.
You talking about Harry
No,
Styles?
it's not.
I
I
do
know.
think
You
that
name one. How many of them ball players that you see on the red carpet? How many of them black actor men you see on from the Met Gala? Not even Met Gala because that's a costume type of thing. On the red carpet, they got the most craziest looking pieces of clothes. Them white dudes on average come with a black tux.
Yeah, I mean, like I think we could go back and forth on
old-
this,
the
but
old-
look,
the
look at
older white
look
ones,
at
but not
what's the
the
guy,
younger
the Jenner
ones.
dude. Like he
Yeah,
came.
exactly.
I
No,
mean,
Jadena
this is
did
gonna
more so
sound bad.
about
I
his
don't-
culture.
You said-
I'm gonna get myself in
You
trouble.
talking about
Jadena?
Jadena? That was more of his
You
culture
said
thing.
Jenner? Or
No,
yeah,
the Jenner
Jadena.
guy.
Jenner?
Yeah.
Oh,
said
you
Chris-
talking about?
talking
I
about
thought
Jenner.
you said Jadena. I'm about to throw
No,
Jadena
no,
out there. I
no,
was like, no,
Jenner
Jadena
ain't
didn't.
doing that,
Yeah,
no.
no.
I don't know who you're
but
talking
that
about,
was he
but
literally
Jenner.
transitioned to a woman.
woman.
Now you talking about?
He transitioned to a
Yeah.
woman and still like women.
Look, right. He went from
Yeah,
wearing
yeah.
drawers
I
to
wearing
transitioning.
panties.
No, he was
With
wearing
the-
panties.
with
Yeah.
the ass cut out. Let me say.
No, that was
But,
Kanye.
Yeah.
but no, I think what's happening, like this, always the history repeats itself.
Feminizing these
In
dudes.
the '80s, the Boy George eras, Shalimar with Mickey Free, like even Dave Chappelle them joke about this with Charlie Murphy. He said back then the men who dressed feminine was getting all the girls, and these were the celebrities.
Mhm.
They kind of reverting back what they call themselves. Even
But George was gay.
Yeah, he was gay. He was gay.
But it's like
But no,
it's kind of fashion.
no. Hold
So
on,
that's
this
that's
is
how
what
they
I'm saying.
think about it.
Yeah, this is what I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like even what they call rappers calling themselves rock stars now. They're
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
much all the new
Mhm.
rock stars, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Now they bringing out the big flare leg, sweet looking pants now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I
media
know what
looks
you mean.
sus. But they
Yeah.
Tight at the top.
Yeah, they wearing that. They wearing that now.
Yeah.
The flare
They
leg
got them,
pants.
them Shannon Sharp
They,
type pants.
what's the group sing? Ray Shremmer. The
Yeah.
black guy. I like
Yeah.
that track, Black Beatles.
Yeah.
It's
You know
not
the
just black
Beatles?
people though.
No, it's not just black people.
Okay.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I'm not just saying it's black, but I'm just referring to whom we are talking about at the
Yeah.
time.
yeah.
But it's reverting back to that. And back then they called it androgynous.
Mhm.
You know, like with Prince.
But it was more so
rocking
for
blouse.
women, was androgynous too, like the Grace Jones and all them. They referred
See,
that mainly for women.
They did. See,
Yeah.
but also look at men a lot, like your Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Your Prince, Mickey Free with Shalimar,
David Bowie,
a lot
all
of
them.
dudes, a lot of them, Bon Jovi, a lot of them. They wore
Bon
blouses
Jovi,
and
yeah, Bon
tight.
Jovi,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
them boy now. Bon Jovi was straight rock.
I mean, they
'Cause I
like
was a Bon
women.
Jovi fan.
They like
And-
women.
and
but
now-
they were
And
rock, so-
nowadays,
Yeah.
I mean, even like the guy who plays Vecna in Stranger Things,
Yeah,
he
'cause
he
he's a
came
rock
out
type
and
of
did
dude,
all
yeah.
kinds of
See
weird
what I'm
stuff. But
saying?
he's a
Yeah.
straight dude.
He's
Like
yeah.
he
Yeah,
was
you got
like with the
straight
woman
dudes.
and all that.
Because he's a rock star type
Timothy
of dude. He has a band
Chalamet,
and
like
everything.
he dressed up
Exactly.
as a woman. Like
Who?
not he dressed up. He had a dress on. I said he
Who's
dressed up
that?
like a woman. He had a dress on.
Who was that?
Timothy Chalamet.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's the one that
Sure,
Michael B.
look at
Jordan's
even,
going up
uh,
against.
Yeah, yeah. I
for
know
the
you're
Oscar.
talking about.
Yeah,
I watched
okay.
Timothy
Kid
Chalamet.
Cudi had
Okay.
on a whole dress.
Yeah,
holding a
exactly.
dude
Kid-
hand
well,
and stuff
you
like
know,
that, you know.
I was talking about the white
on
people,
SNL.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, to me, you're getting in these spaces of challenging what they think is challenging the norm. Men been wearing these certain fashions for decades, right? But
Yeah.
we attribute it to feminine things. So we say automatically we would think the man is gay. A lot of men weren't gay that were
No, a
dressing
lot
like
of
this.
them weren't
Prince,
gay.
But they
like
had,
Michael
yeah, like Prince
Jackson,
could take your
like-
whole woman. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And you
So-
look at that type of space, but now I think with a lot of conditioning, it's not a lot of these dudes, they like dudes. It's not
You
so
talking about
much
the
like,
ones now?
yeah.
So a
like,
male
you had
baddie
a-
is
A
he
dude who
likes
like
dudes?
dudes?
No, I don't think
Is he
they
bi?
like, huh? I think he bi. Because I got
He
metrosexual. Nobody
bypass
cares.
women.
Yeah,
Straight to men.
nobody
That's
cares
what
that
he
these
do.
men are taking care of themselves because we want a man as well, Green. We want a man to
Yeah.
love on himself because you're supposed to love on yourself, that take care of yourself health-wise and everything. When that dude saying male baddie and I'm looking at his video, I was like, nah, you like men. You know,
I mean,
and that's why dudes wasn't trying to
I
adopt
don't
that.
know.
Dudes was like, nah,
No.
bruh, because baddie was a feminine
I
thing.
get a
You need your own
haircut.
language.
I wash my ass. I get a haircut. I wash my ass. I wear deodorant. I
That's
put on
basic
decent
hygiene, bro.
clothes.
You go to the
So,
gym.
I go to the gym.
Yeah.
But
You got a
Nobody's
face.
saying that,
You got a
but it's-
face routine.
These
at
men,
night.
these men put no
oh,
makeup.
that's what they do. They put on makeup.
You got some put on makeup.
Yeah,
You got a
they
lot
do.
of men wearing makeup
the
now. all
looks
that stuff.
maxers, they do
Yeah,
all kinds
they
of stuff.
put on makeup.
I know they arch
You gotta
their
look into that.
eyebrows,
Yeah.
but a lot of Hispanics men do that. They arch their eyebrows.
They put on
Eyebrow
makeup.
arch.
When you start going to things that literally and what we term as feminine, you literally trying to
applying
hide in plain sight, bro. And that's the way I feel. But I was like, just own your truth.
I think
like-
they're trying to look prettier than the women. Some of them.
That's because
'Cause
once again, they don't
'cause
have
if
their
you
own
notice,
language.
Pimps were kind of flamboyant too.
Yeah, but they still
With the
they had
fingernails.
flamboyant suits. They didn't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
dresses.
No. Because that wasn't back then, you know.
Get
'cause
your
they
ass
still
beat in
needed-
the street.
See, the thing is, listen, let me break this something down.
All right,
let me
go,
break something
go,
down
go.
about this pimping here. No,
Oh, okay.
No, with pimps.
You're the old
right?
school man baddie.
With
Right,
pimps.
right.
The thing
With
is,
his
how
sling back.
pimps catch women. Two things: your look and your mouth game. Right?
Okay.
You like a peacock.
No, you weak and you need
You
money.
had to be you a peacock. This is the
That's how they
mental.
call it.
This is the mental thing. You have the long, pretty, silky hair, right? You got the flashy clothes. You got long manicured nails. Some of them don't realize some of that was for doing
Yeah,
lines.
yeah.
And you wear a lot of jewelry. You look flashy. Even in nature, the male sometimes always
peacock.
going to look better than the females. Certain birds going to look, or certain birds or certain animals going to look better than females because that's in order to attract women.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. That's almost a sort of like an
I don't want no
androgyny
man with a
type
beat
thing.
face trying to attract me.
No. You
No.
talking about that? I'm talking about far as them. They didn't have a beat face like
Yeah.
that, but they'd be in the hairdresser getting their hair done, and some
But
of
it
them would have
also
some
was the
type of
flex
feminine
on the
color.
black men. They had to stand out because black men were regular. So to say, oh, I got the money, I got the shine. That's
And
what a lot
that's
of the
the
drug dealing rap dudes did.
Yes,
Same
and that's
thing.
The
It's
purpose
the same
of
persona.
the flesh.
Yeah.
That's like you say with even rappers now. They'll be in the video, which I don't knock nobody. You will notice now men wear more jewelry than women.
They
They
looking
got
real
on
sus.
all the jewelry. Their girl barely got on jewelry, and they got on all this jewelry. I'm like, at one time that was more catered for
Yeah.
women, you know. Or you were royalty, you would wear certain jewels and things like that, and then people within your, you know.
All I know is don't come
So
around
do
and
we-
telling no straight woman you a male baddie.
Do we
or
need
you
to
ain't gonna pick her
stop
out.
this man baddie thing?
Yes.
I don't
20
think-
seconds. 20
Oh
seconds.
yeah,
go.
they need to stop, but I don't think they will though. But yeah, I think, like I said, I think if you a man baddie, I think you bleed once a month. That just might take.
Okay, what do you think?
If you want the lonely male epidemic to keep growing, keep calling yourself a male baddie. That's what I think. You really gonna be by yourself because women gonna be like, and have a good day, sir.